Yo, what's up, Travis? How's it going, man?
Yo, Scott Meshey,
Scott
Privateer
Meshey.
Hero. What is up, buddy?
Shoot, man. Just driving through through the mountains of Arizona.
Sick. Desert life.
Yeah,
Des life,
Yeah.
bro.
Des life.
yeah, dude. Just chilling. Thankfully, my mom's driving. I'm working on some schoolwork right now, and just driving down the road, and that's that.
Oh,
Day
man.
1 of 3.
Your mom's in the car, too?
Oh,
Yes,
Jesus.
sir.
Tell her I said what's up.
Why'd you just say it like that, bro? Don't say
Because
it
if
like
you don't say it like
Why
that,
you
it's just
gotta, why
weird.
you gotta say it like that?
Yeah, why you gotta make
Oh,
it
my
weird,
goodness.
Look,
dude?
your mom will appreciate it, all right? God. Your mom loves me, okay?
Yeah, whatever, Travis.
Oh, why you gotta say that like that?
Yeah, that was
too?
weird too.
Why
Oh,
is it weird?
What the fuck are you doing?
Why is it weird?
Listen, dude. Right now, you got yourself a big old shovel, and you're just digging the hole deeper.
I'm not digging
and
any
then all of a
holes.
sudden, you're gonna look up, and you're like, oh shoot, you're gonna be at the bottom going, help me.
Oh, no. I'm great when it comes to parents.
Oh, God, Travis. Good Lord, buddy.
In a previous life with previous jobs, I had to deal with parents all the time because I worked at kids' places. I'm great with
Oh,
parents.
boy.
Parents
Oh,
love
geez.
me, okay?
Oh, boy.
I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it.
I have the T-shirts and the pictures to prove it. It's fine.
Oh Jesus.
Oh, man.
Jesus.
So anyway, so you text me here while we were doing the show with some exciting news on some things. So why don't you give us this exciting news here so that everyone can get in the excitement with you here? Because I'm pumped for you, man.
Oh, wow. I'm going to be the last to know.
Yeah, you are going to
Well-
be the last to know.
Listen, man. The biggest thing. There's a couple of goals that I've had this season. First thing, as a rookie going into Supercross, my biggest thing was I just want to make some mains, and I just want to make main gates. I accomplished that. Even though I was a little late of an entry because I couldn't get my bikes quick enough,
Yep.
we still made it happen. I went into outdoors thinking, dude, I just want to get top 20. I just want to get top 20 as many times as I possibly can. Last year, I got so close so many times. I might have gotten the Hard Charger Award, but that wasn't good enough for me. I wanted those top 20s. Well, by second race, I was breaking top 20s. And then, the next thing was just keep finishing top 20s. And then next thing I know, by about halfway through the season, especially by Millville, I was like, all right, I want to crack the top 15. And so, last weekend at Pala, I got 14th in the first moto, and then proceeded to absolutely hurl my guts out because the heat was so bad.
Third
It
week in a row.
was so bad. It was so terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, truthfully, it's bad when you have a really big, like almost shop fan on full blast, and it just doesn't even feel like the air is cool at all. Like it just feels like it's blowing hot air.
Yep.
And then going into Hangtown, I was like, all right, I want top 15 overall. Unfortunately, I didn't get that. I got 14th in the first moto. Second moto, ripped the nastiest start of my life and was like 6th. I ran 6th for about the first, I think, 10 minutes of the race, which was a very interesting feeling. It was a bit mind-boggling because, the first lap, I'm like, holy smokes, I'm up here and I'm actually staying right here with these guys. What do I do? And obviously, you know that you need to just go, but not being exposed to that before, I was like, what the heck do I do? I mean,
Yep.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
it just felt a little weird to be that close to leaders. I was like, because I mean, who the heck was up there? I mean, I'm pretty sure Tomac was up there. I think the Coop was up there.
Christian, Max,
Yeah.
and then
Christian Craig, and I was like, dude, like, it's weird being like that close to them, and it's not like, the first couple laps, it's not like they were like walking away fast.
Yeah.
And unfortunately tipped over, got caught in the banners because I'm a goon and I let my bike go into neutral in the corner. I don't know if I caught the right with the shifter or what. Either way, it's my fault. But the biggest thing, Travis, that the biggest goal, I guess I could say, that I have had all year long, even last year at the end of the rounds, I told myself, I want to get a national number next year. I want to get points and get a national number going into 2022. That's what my goal has been the entire year. And I am happy to say that we have secured the bag. We have gotten enough points to get the national number. I was actually told, and I'm hoping that everything, obviously, as far as I know that some folks have like career numbers, like Chad Reed will still have his number for next year, but apparently I was sitting with number 85 going into Hangtown, and now we just got 12 more points. So I think that we really secured it.
Wow, well, that would be excellent if you got 85,
That is
because then we would
funny.
go from Moran's 85 to Meshey 85. We would just keep the 85
Just
rolling
keep the
on the
85 in
show.
the family.
Yeah, I mean, listen, either way, I mean, here's the thing is, I wouldn't care. I mean, and this would be pretty cool if it was like number like 13 or something, but I wouldn't care if it was number 13 or 99. I literally wouldn't care. I just wanted that 2-digit number.
Yep.
Because to me, I'm like, you know what? Like, I feel like first, I mean, obviously getting your pro card and stuff like that, like that's cool. Like, you know, you're one of the really good guys. You're one of the top guys out there. And then obviously you go and you're making gates, and you know that's even cooler. You know, you're out there with the best guys, arguably in the world, but definitely in the United States. But if you go and you get yourself a national number, like, you're a badass. You know, like you like, that's my opinion. You know, you've kind of reached a level of, obviously, I mean, you're one of the top 100 guys in the United States. Like you are it, man. You are at the top.
Yep.
And you know, it's pretty cool. I mean, and honestly, I've kind of set out basically every goal that I've really wanted to accomplish this year, and to be able to actually have all that come together, dude, the ups and downs of you know, the whole season, whether it was starting off at Paula and absolutely sucking, and then all of a sudden going to Thunder Valley, getting points, crashing out at High Point, had nothing but bad luck at Red Bud with bike issues, and wadding again at Millville, and heat issues at Bud's Creek, asthma and heat issues at Bud's Creek, that basically I was going into shock, shaking on the, like, literally uncontrollable, like shaking on the ground. One of the guys from Dunlop was nice enough, literally was parked across the street from Dunlop, and the guy literally ran over to try and help me because he obviously didn't know what was happening. And this dude just literally just saw me on the ground, like shaking, and he was like trying to like keep me focused. You know, my eyes were like rolling in the back of my head and all that crap. Just not a good time. And you know, that another asthma attack at Ironman, you know, to be able to come away and get those points and get that 2-digit for next year, holy smokes, man. Like, what a roller coaster. Like, gosh, man, the payoff is freaking sweet.
Oh, yeah. And
That's
now,
awesome,
next
dude.
year, if you can get bikes on time and then smooth out a few of these issues, I mean, think about it. The number could go way down at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, man, the sky's the limit. And honestly, just, the way that I am is I continue to get better. You know, I just keep growing. And that's what I've seen, you know, obviously over last year and now this year was just a ton of growth, man, just a ton of growth.
Yep.
And, you know, that's what we're going to keep doing. You know, obviously we're getting better. Next year's program is going to be better. I'm already starting the talks to try and get things pulled together for next year, and trying to pull some support together, man, because I mean, I know that you guys have seen there's a lot of teams that aren't going to be going racing next year, and unfortunately I think that there's going to be less teams than we realize, you know, that are going to be out there giving support, and so it's gonna put a lot of pressure on privateer efforts, because you know, it's just the team spots aren't going to be there like they were before. So we're starting that process early.
Well,
I don't want to be left out in the dark.
That leads into our question of the week here that we're doing.
Oh, we're just asking everybody this.
Oh,
aren't
we're
we?
asking everybody.
Okay.
So what in your opinion justifies a team? So I was having a conversation this week with a friend, And it basically was he's upset that we have these, we'll call them quote unquote teams, where the truck driver is getting
Chappelle.
100,000 plus a year. And well, I don't think that's the case
No,
because
Michael Lindsay
was driving it. But anyway, these truck drivers are getting 100K a year, and the guys are paying to ride for the team, and there's no salaries, and they're not running race gas, and all this shit like that. So, what, in your opinion, justifies a team?
Oof. Well, I
Put Scott
honestly,
on the
that's
spot.
actually a really good question. I guess the way that I personally see teams, I mean, listen, you could have two dudes rolling in a Sprinter van that's rap, and you could call that a team. Truthfully, you could.
Yeah.
Is it a factory team? Absolutely not. But I mean, a team is what you make it. However, I mean, there's obviously different levels, I guess you could say, like your tiers, I guess you could say. And while there's no exact order, I guess no exact line to say this is this tier team, aside from obviously you have your factory teams, and we all know who they are.
Yep.
And then you have your teams that are either manufacturer recognized or manufacturer supported. Like Moto Concepts for a while, when Brayton was riding for them. I know a couple years ago when Brayton started to do really well on Moto Concepts, Honda basically said, we're basically going to give you a couple parts to help you guys out. What do you want? And the first thing out of his mouth was your brake systems.
Yep.
So, you have your teams just under your factory teams that are, your guys are usually, I say the word usually here because I know there's an exception sometimes, getting paid at least decently, and they have a decent setup, usually a rig, and, they're getting some support from the factories. And then honestly, I mean, you have teams like Rocky Mountain that are pretty much one of those teams. And I mean, I don't understand the whole thing. The problem is that I haven't read into it too much about whatever. I heard there was like comments out there about whatever with McElrath and being paid or whatever or something. I don't even know.
I might have put up one of those comments.
Hey, listen, I actually don't know. I mean, like I said, it's been a while since I've talked to him, and I would never ask that kind of question because that's.
I'll explain it to you when we're off the phone.
All right.
I've beat that horse enough here on the show. I'll explain it to you I'll explain it to you later.
All right. That's fair. Yeah. So I mean, you have stuff like that, but you have factory supported or factory at least recognized teams like like Rocky Mountain or Moto Concepts, or I believe that even AJE was getting some level of recognition from Gas. I can't say that 100% with confidence, but you have teams like that, and then you have other teams, like SGB or PRMX that are, I would say, a little more like a privateer. That would be like a true privateer team where they're pulling together resources, they're pulling together efforts. Most times, I can't imagine that those guys are getting paid. Like I said, I mean, I don't know, even in my own small experiences, that's not what I've come to understand. It's more of a thing of kind of making it easier on the rider, and they usually get a race bike. It just depends on the rider, depends on the team, depends on how much, and my own experience, it was, well, what can you bring to the team? What sponsors can you bring to the team? What value can you bring to the team?
Mm-hmm.
Is it tires? Is it graphics? Is it plastics? Is it a gas card? What is that? And that's what the privateer teams, truthfully, more times than not, what I have seen, and again, this is just my perspective and what I have seen, in my 18, 19 years of being around the sport, is that guys that will bring money or at least bring value will get spots and will be a part of those privateer teams. And, that's that. But sometimes the bikes aren't all they're, hooked up to be, or, the payment of riders isn't what it's hooked up to be. And sometimes promises fall short. Um, it's kind of hard to say exactly what constitutes a team, but you have all types of teams out there. It just depends on what your resources are and what you would consider that to be. I mean, to be honest, man, like, I bring more value to myself. I bring more value to the people that support me by doing my own effort, truthfully.
Yes.
Yep.
And to be honest, I think that that's a big thing. That's something that I believe in. And that's something that, my mom has instilled, is to give back. And that's something that's really been important to me. And even through my schooling and, just general understanding of business, is that realistically racing is like a business. And while it's a losing proposition for most, there has to be some type of give back. And so the folks that support me, I do whatever I can to give back to them, and I stay loyal, and I give back. I try to create value for them, because that's how it should be. I'm not going to be the guy that's just going to jump ship just because.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the horror stories that I've heard about some of the teams that are out there, the smaller teams, people falling short on expectations for what they're supposed to get for a bike, the pay, there's a whole lot of talk, and sometimes the follow through is weak. And to be honest, man, I'm happy with the bikes that I'm on. I've created a really awesome program as far as my bike setup, and it'll continue to get better. I work with amazing people. I mean, truthfully, I don't really think that there's people that I work with that I'm not stoked to be not to be working with. So, for guys out there, I mean, I guess if you want to call it a team, I mean, realistically, if you got a couple guys, transporting stuff, and, maybe if you're getting a race bike, then yeah, I mean, I guess that's a team. I mean, it's kind of hard to constitute. It depends on what level of support you're looking at.
Yeah. So I would ask you though. I mean, what do you think? What would you say that constitutes a team? So me and Justin were just talking about this, giving our answers, and so my thing is that for me to justify you as a team, you need a truck, even if it's as simple as like the SGB deal, where it's a fifth wheel trailer or whatever.
Race trailer.
Right. Team manager, truck driver, however many riders you want to have. Each rider gets a mechanic paid for by the team. Now, if you say your team's based in California and you want to live in Florida, well, then you got to supply your own practice mechanic, because we're not flying the mechanic back and forth. Mechanic's going to stay at the shop, at the home base, wherever that's at, okay? Or vice versa, whatever, wherever, North Carolina, whatever. Doesn't matter. But we'll supply truck driver to get you to the races, mechanic for you, team manager to hold everything together, race bike, practice bike, parts, and some sort of salary. On top of, obviously, we'll get you to and from the races, per diem type shit. Because in my mind, you guys are a professional sport. So, in my opinion, the top 40 dudes in both classes for indoors and out should all be that way. It should all be, even if say you're the 40th place dude, whatever, your salary should still be, even if it's small, say 30 to 50K a year.
Still should be making money.
You still should be making some sort of money. Now, if you want to spend that 30K on a trainer, on a practice mechanic, whatever, that's your prerogative.
Yep.
You can do that. But we're going to give you a base salary. We're going to give you some bonus options. We're going to get you to and from the races, and we're going to make sure you can practice. those are what we're going to do for you. The rest of it is on you. And now, granted, that could go from $30,000 for the 40th place guy to the top guy, like say a Ken Roxon or Eli Tomac. You could be making $5 million a year. But that, in my mind, for at least the top 40 is what it should be. And then outside of the top 40 guys, okay, or not even, let's say, top 40, because there's always these sleeper guys out there, right? But you can still show up in your pickup truck with your bike and try to qualify, whatever. Because I was equating it to NASCAR, because we've been talking a lot tonight. We've been asking everyone this question, and we've been talking a lot about Formula One, NASCAR, MotoGP, PGA, that kind of stuff, okay? So even at NASCAR, okay, you have 40 dudes on the grid, and even the 40th place guy in a NASCAR race is still doing okay-ish, we'll say. And there's still dudes that show up to NASCAR races in a fifth-wheel trailer, pulling it with their Silverado 1-ton truck, and they have one car, one motor, whatever, and they're going out there and trying to qualify for these NASCAR races. So again, I don't want to eliminate the grassroots level of it where like, hey, I can get my pro card, I can get my brand new 450 off the showroom floor, put my suspension on it, put my graphics on it, go to the race and try to qualify. I don't want to kill that grassroots part of it. What I want to do is I want to make sure that there's at least 40 dudes to fill the gates, whether it be for a night show for Supercross or for a outdoor moto. I want to make sure there's 40 dudes there that are making money doing this. And then beyond that, whoever's beyond that, fine, no problem. Like if that's your life choice you want to make to privateer this up and drive to the races and that kind of stuff, that's fine. But in my mind, between the promoters, the manufacturers that are going on right now, the smaller teams, there should be a cohesive working together to figure out how do we draw in the most money so that we can make something like this happen so that we don't have empty gates.
That's fair.
No,
and I think truthfully what you're talking about as far as those requirements, like to be considered a team,
yep.
Realistically, that would be that would truthfully be like a Rocky Mountain, an AJE, a Moto Concepts.
Yeah, and that my mind is bare minimum. If you get any of these teams where you're paying, you're not getting bikes, you got to buy your own bikes, you got to pay to get yourself to the race, any of that shit, that's not a team. That's a group of dudes that have a tent at a race. Like, I mean, I do the same thing. I paid to go to my local race at Redbud yesterday so I could go race. I'm not a fucking team, okay? Like, I got a truck, I got a trailer, I got a bike, like, whatever. I'm not a fucking team, all right? I had to pay money to go there to do that. It's a hobby for me. I'm a hobby team.
That's fair. Yeah, and honestly, man, I mean, it's obviously in the perfect world, if everybody's working together, then, obviously there's a bit of value creation that can be done, and there can be a bit more, I guess, I wouldn't say redistributing of money, but I mean, to be honest, there should be a little bit of a change. But yeah, no, I think that you're pretty solid, at least. I think, what's interesting, and I don't know if you know about this, but I know that for many, many years that there was programs with like Pro Circuit, obviously for the 250 guys. So, in Supercross and in outdoors, where riders got to choose as far as their salary went and their bonuses, where they could get paid less, and if they place really, really well, then they got paid big bonuses.
Yep.
Well, that was
or they could get a little bit. They could get a bit of a higher salary, but you're not going to be bonusing as much. So honestly, I mean, there's even like teams like that who, are giving riders options for salaries and bonuses. And to be honest, I would definitely say that it's at least worth, I would say truthfully, in the least, if you are, as a team, basically transporting people's stuff, you're providing a race bike, practice bike, even I would say a smaller salary, and I guess, really incentivizing performance, I think that makes a big difference.
Yep.
You know, because you're really gonna be pushing guys to perform, and if you're like, hey, like if you're out there beating some factory guys, we'll give you $500 for every factory rider that you beat.
Yep.
You're gonna have some guys going out there. I mean, they're gonna be out for blood, but like, you know, you're gonna have some guys that are gonna be really, 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 you know, putting in some hard work at the test track, at the practice track, on the race day to go up and beat those guys. And truthfully, I mean, you know, as long as for the rider, I feel like if your cost to race and to train or at least practice is zero or as close to zero as you can get, and you're getting bonuses and maybe a small salary, I would consider that a team. I mean, you know, if you're finishing up close to top 20, then yeah, I think you know, if you're making mains, then I think that it's very reasonable to ask for a small salary, something that you can live off of.
Yeah. Like, there's no reason, I know it's not a lot, but there's no reason that any dude on the starting line for a Supercross main event or even an outdoor moto should be making less than 30 grand base salary. Because that's not much.
No,
and honestly, if you got to pay for your practice track to ride or whatever like that too, like that's eaten into it. But, you know, 30 grand is doable in my opinion to get by.
And let me tell you why that's reasonable. So in the Florida area, obviously you're not going out to Bakers.
Yep.
You know, if you want to go out to Rattrays, to be honest, I've heard different ranges. You know, when I talked to him before, I believe that I think that he was at like the 30K mark, the 25 or 30K mark for the year, and that was training, nutrition, all that, the workout routine, all that. You know, out at 83 compound for a year commitment, which is what you have to do as a year commitment. It's 15 grand.
Okay.
You know, at Moto Sandbox, if you do, I believe it's a 6-month commitment. I think that you're looking at about 9 grand, 8 or 9 grand.
Okay.
So, like, in all reality, so if you're looking at even your cheapest point being 15 grand for a year, that's literally, if you're salarying somebody 30 grand, that's already that's half their pay gone, man. And that's just for them to train. That's just for them to train. And and the thing with those yearly commitments, and they're pretty hardcore on it. If you get hurt, if you're not racing, that's too bad. Like you're still paying anyway.
Yep.
So it's 100%. That's 100% reasonable.
I say I heard back in the day before the goat farm sold, I heard that was about 24K for a year there.
Yeah, because MTF used to be between 15 and 20.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is now.
You know, to be honest, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I had some guys that I raced against. Actually, a couple guys that I've raced against that have been there and stayed there. I never really asked. You know, but
yeah.
But I would say, I mean, and truthfully, that's not terrible.
Yeah.
That's not a terrible price.
I mean, when you're telling me, say, 8-9 grand for Moto Sandbox for 6 months, and they'll do it in a 6-month cycle, to me that seems all right. I mean, if you're an outdoor specialist, you're not a Supercross guy, you have a great outdoor track there. You can pay the 9 grand. You have somewhere to train. You're in Florida. Yeah. To me that seems okay. If that's my lot in life to be a professional racer, to go do that. If you're doing Supercross, they have 2 Supercross tracks there, don't they?
Yep, 2 Supercross tracks, 2 outdoor tracks, a turn track.
Yeah, so to me, that doesn't seem unreasonable. Now, Rattray with the 30K, that's a little more like, that you're trying. But I guess if you're trying to get a high-end individuals, like, okay, cool, whatever, you know, I mean, and it just depends too. Like, I've only seen a couple videos of Rattray's place. I haven't seen a lot. Like, it's not quite as documented as, say, Moto Sandbox or something like that. So, 83
Yeah, and I
compound,
mean,
that
don't.
seems good too. Like, that seems like an okay deal. And obviously, if you're out there, I mean, any of these places you go, if you get to ride with these top dudes, because like 83
Oh yeah,
obviously is the new spot from what I understand.
yes sir.
So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, and obviously, don't quote me
oh
on
no,
rat trays. I mean, that's
yeah, no,
that's where that was around ballpark. I believe that's where we were. That's what we were initially talking about because I went out there for the day to kind of see how it was and talk to Tyler about training out there. To me, it just ended up not being. It just wasn't the fit for me.
yeah,
Um, you know, at least for that time, it just wasn't the fit for me.
yep,
And I found a good home at Sandbox, and I mean, honestly, it worked really nicely for me. Um, so, I was pretty happy with that. And what's interesting is, and I'll kind of equate this to you. So, if you make a Supercross night show as a 250 rider, you get $700. Period.
yep,
Now, once you make a main event, I think you make like 740. But big winnings, big difference.
yeah,
But you know,
Woo!
as a 250 rider, if you race every single race, all 9 rounds, and you make every show. Let's just say you're not making a main event, but you're making every show. If I'm paying for the whole Supercross season of 6 months, and obviously that, I mean, truthfully, 8-9 grand, that's still really cheap for the facility.
mm-hmm.
That's definitely good. That's really good. That's really good pricing. But I'm only making $700, and that's not even covering, that's $6,300 in 9 rounds.
Yeah,
That doesn't even cover my training costs.
yep,
And that's not even, we can go down the whole spiel like we did last time. And that we all know it, that doesn't even cover the training costs. And not everybody has a Supercross track in their backyard. And if you want an actual legit one, you got to pay some cash for it.
yep,
If you're out in California and you're riding Lake Elsinore, or, I mean, heck, I don't even know all the tracks that are there or not there anymore. They're not cheap. So it's very reasonable, like you're saying, to if you're able to pull together those type of resources for privateers, I think that's a big thing.
yep. Yeah, well,
So
we're working on it, buddy.
Trying hard every day.
Listen, dude. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. There's gotta put the love out there for the privateers, and gotta show the support, show the love. And honestly, man, what's really cool is over these past couple rounds, I've had kind of people like cheering me along the sidelines, and obviously I don't know, I haven't met them, and they must follow like the YouTube or the Instagram and stuff like that.
Yep.
But I get sections of cheering, or my mom is somewhere watching and she's cheering, and then people start talking to her, and then next thing you know, they're starting to cheer for me and stuff like that. And now it's to the point where people are recognizing doing well and all that kind of stuff, and asking for jerseys, asking for goggles and stuff like that. So doing even what you're doing right now, interviewing me and interviewing other guys and giving us a platform to talk and get names out there and create fans. Like, it's so awesome, man. Like, it's worth it. Even just not even just the money value of it possibly helping growing the sport, setting that aside, just the intrinsic value, the value of how I feel about making an impact on people's lives and being able to interact with people and kids. It's freaking awesome, man. It's just awesome. So,
Yep.
Obviously I just want you to know that what you're doing is more than just, trying to create value and trying to bring awareness and trying to, in some way, figure out something to help out guys like me. It's more than just that. You're creating fans. You're giving guys the ability for real talk. And, not everybody can handle that, but the people that that are open to hearing stuff other than what they already believe, people that are a little more open-minded to folks like myself who are living it and doing it out of a van. Like, it's, it opens a lot of people's eyes, and I think it creates a lot of fans, and I think that what you're doing for the sport is awesome, even on that note. So
Travis
appreciate
Scott's going to make me cry.
I know. Well, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it,
we're
man.
We're getting all emotional over here now.
It does mean a lot to me, man, because we're just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, and we appreciate all you guys that take time to actually talk to us because we get Cool Guide a lot. So we like to chat with you guys. Is our boy Clutch Media in the van with you guys, or did he fly home?
Clutch Media had to fly home.
Lame.
We
just referred to him as Clutch Media, not his real name.
I can't fault him for it. I mean, he's also got Clutch Racing, so he does the goggles and the apparel and stuff like that, and he runs that. So, he's got to make sure that he gets back so that way he can, keep his business running.
Yeah.
Obviously he's working on the vlogs coming up, and he's growing a good bit. I actually met him. I don't know if I told you this last time I was on the show. I actually met him late last year after the season, and he just started filming and editing and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, like I want to do a vlog. I want to start something, and I want to start a story. And he jumped right in, both feet. And next thing you know, and now we're growing. We're growing the YouTube. The guys already hit 1,000 followers on Instagram, which is pretty cool. And he's been doing some stuff, doing some edits for big guys. And I know he did some stuff with Vogel and doing pictures for big guys and getting blown up. So just to be able to grow with him and Sater's such a cool dude and just a good guy, good friend.
Yeah, he's awesome. We're working with him too now a little bit. So
is he going to be up in October? Like, is that something that
I don't know? So Scott, what do you got going on?
What do
you got going on like October 22nd, 23rd?
Yeah.
Other than training for Supercross, because we know that's a thing.
I was going to say probably training for Supercross, but honestly, other than that, I'm not totally sure. I'm curious.
Well,
now
you need to drive to Michigan.
What do you have in mind?
You need to drive to Michigan.
You need a road trip up here for the weekend. We got a sick backyard track. I'll send you some videos of it.
Call it the golf course.
We do call it the golf course. It's AKA Bucks Motocross.
I know what you told me about this.
Yes.
You told me about this.
Yes. So you need to road trip up. We got Kev's coming up. Moran's is coming up to do that, to ride. He's going to bring the 150 and I think the 452 to rip around it because he's actually been out there. When he was here for Redbud, I took him out and showed him because they only do the track once a year right now. We're working on that too, but right now he only does the track once a year, and it's sick, dude. Like, we ride Friday evening from like 4 to 7-ish, and then we ride all day Saturday, and then there's a
lot of other shit going on.
They do like pit bike races and all sorts of
there'll
cool
be food
stuff
there.
like that. Yeah. So you need to.
Honestly, I think I'm gonna see what I can swing. I'm gonna see if I can swing something to be able to come up there. And honestly, I might. Honestly, I'll have to see because pretty much as of right now, my bikes, both my 450s, my race bike and my practice bike are for sale. So I'm gonna see what kind of stuff I have going on. But I actually have a good friend of mine who is a sponsor. He has a special little something that I might see if he'll allow me for media purposes to steal it for the weekend if he's open to it.
Sick.
All I gotta say is it's a big boy 2-stroke over 500 cc's.
Oh boy. Well,
so
I got a CRF 450. I'm pretty much whoring out to anyone who wants to ride it also that'll be ready for then. So
all right. Well, listen. I mean, I guess we'll see. I might, if for a 2-stroke that's over 500 cc's, I might just slap the Olin suspension that's on my 450 right now. I'll just slap that on there.
Here we go.
Scott, you're gonna give everybody a fucking boner.
Jesus.
Rolling out on a 500.
Oh, calm her down here. Holy shit.
She's gonna start off. Everybody's gonna be like, "What the fuck is that?"
You know what's funny though? I've been wanting to get a 252 stroke just for myself because I spent some time with a buddy of mine, Ryan Surratt, before Paula. He was nice enough to have me out at his place and stay with him to kind of keep my costs low. Talk about a good dude, man. Like, literally, what a good dude. I mean, the guy's out there top 10ing, and, to be honest, talking to him, and the guy's not getting a ride. So I don't know what the hell that's about.
Yeah,
you guys should talk to him. He's a cool dude.
We would love to. I heard he's tough to get a hold of, so if you could, pass my number along to him and tell him to text me, would be awesome, because
Ryan's a bad dude.
Bro, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. I'll call him and be like, listen up, brother. we gotta get on this, man. Like, you're top 10ing, and
fucking 8-8.
and his dad's a freaking trip. But he has the Craigslist killer. He has I think it's an 03 CR 252 stroke that has like a zillion hours on it, and he just rips the freaking crap out of this thing. And he's like, obviously being in between, when you're in between bikes or riding for a team or whatever, like, that's the bike that keeps me riding. And I'm like, damn, that really makes me want an old 252 stroke. And I've always wanted one, but like, after seeing that, I'm like, man, no, I really want one.
Oh.
And you know what's funny? I actually almost picked up a blown up RM 252 stroke in California and brought it home with me. I almost did it.
Sick.
And I got looking into it a little more. I was looking into it a little more, and it's an 01. And I found out that apparently the 01 motor was different from the 02 motor, which was different from the 03 to 08 motor. And it was like impossible to get any parts. And I'm like, well, damn, that ruined my whole plan. But I'm gonna be on the lookout. I'm gonna see. I mean, honestly, it's hard to come up with like an extra couple grand. Obviously, I just can't do it.
Yep.
But
now that you're saying,
I may. Oh, go ahead.
Now that you're talking about those, I may have an early 2000s CR250 I can get you if you make it up here. Are we talking
about who I think we're talking about, Spike?
I'm sorry, say that one more time, bud.
I said I may have an early 2000s CR250 I can get you if you make it up here for that. I'll have to double check. Because it was offered to me last year. Because right before this event last year, like the week before, my 450 took a shit on me. So I was like all bummed out because I was like, damn it, I live all year for this ride. And now I can't do it again. I'm real good at blowing my bike up right before the end of the year. So this was offered to me by a friend of mine like the day before. And in fact, had he not offered it to me like at 10 o'clock the night before, I probably would have taken him up and gone and got it. I mean, dude, it is pristine. I think it's got #1 plates on it. I believe it's got the Woody Woodpecker graphics on it. Like,
no way.
Yeah, so I'll have to hit him up and see, but if he still got it and if I could possibly borrow it. But he was pretty adamant about, bro, like, if you want it, just come get it whenever you want. And I was like, dude, I may do a video with it next year, which of course I haven't done yet. And so I'll hit him up and talk to him and see if I can borrow that. So we may be able to get you one of those if that needs to happen here.
Yeah. Listen, dude, you really never know. I mean, truthfully, I have been actively looking. I mean, I'm looking for a Craigslist killer, a Facebook fun bike, whatever that is.
Yeah.
If it's the Zuckerberg motorcycle special, who knows? I mean, whatever that looks like.
These names are awesome. We gotta put these on a t-shirt.
I like it.
We're gonna do a build called the Facebook Fun Bike and put that on a t-shirt is what we're gonna fucking do here now. So.
Yes, sir.
Sick.
Yes, sir. Listen. I'm looking. I was even looking there. I mean, there was I think it was like a 03 or an 04 KX 252 stroke in Jacksonville, and it was like $1,000. And I was like, I heard that the old KX, 252 strokes. I heard those things can turn. They might be turds, but I know people that can make them fast.
They just don't handle really well in high-speed sections, so be careful with that.
I mean, listen, here's the problem, is it doesn't matter if it handles like crap, if it's slow, or whatever. I'll ride the freaking piss out of the thing and have an absolute blast doing it. Why? Because I love two-strokes.
Hell yeah.
And to be honest, there's nothing more satisfying to me than riding a two-stroke for like 5 laps and being like, yeah, this was way too much work. I'm hopping back on my 450 and just chilling. where I can ride the roughest tracks in the United States at the very end of a 30-minute +2 and put in some of my fastest laps on a 450 and just be absolutely just chilling and grilling versus a 252 stroke. I'm just absolutely hammering the freaking life out of the thing and feel like after 5 laps, I'm like, yep, nope, that's it for me. I'm cool with being a lazy rider now.
I love this kid, man. He just recognizes it.
Yep.
Just recognizes 2 strokes are just harder to ride. I love this kid.
I'm with you on that.
I love this kid.
But I'm
Yeah,
with
dude.
you too of like looking on the Craigslist in the Facebook all the time for him, like all the time.
See, this guy, I guarantee you, we're gonna get off this call. We're gonna get off this show, and this guy, all of a sudden, he's gonna download the Craigslist app, and then all of a sudden, Facebook Marketplace is about to blow off. This guy's gonna be like, "What can I find?"
By the time he gets back to Florida, he's gonna have 6 bikes to go look at and see like which one do I want.
Dude,
So,
bet 100%.
hey, I'm in it.
I'm into it. I'm totally into it. I'll even go halvesies with it.
Bro, I'm telling you, me and Justin, okay, so we're getting ready to fire up like a power sports shop out the side of my powder coating shop at this point. So we've been kind of, because Justin had a shop for a long time with his dad, and his dad's unfortunately not with us anymore, but whatever. Anyway, not to get all sentimental and sad and everything right now. But anyway, so he's been rebuilding my 450 for me, and we're almost done with that. And then, like, I have way too many bikes to be even proud of at this point. Like, I got like a dozen bikes. So anyway, so the next one up on the list that we've been talking about doing is I have a 93 CR 125 that has been basically everything other than wrapped around a tree. I traded a kid a set of Camaro wheels that I bought at some point to just powder coat and resell. So I powder coated them for him and then traded him for the bike. So like probably the best trade ever. For like $200, I got this bike. But
dude, absolutely.
But anyway,
that is love that finesse.
yeah. So we have been talking about like that's the next one up because we're trying to really build the YouTube thing with the bike builds or whatever, which is also why I'm constantly on the lookout. Even though, like you, I have no money for it. Like I'm looking for these blown up turds, diamond in the rough. Like what can we rebuild? One of the things, and I haven't even talked to you about this, Justin, that I've kind of noticed recently is like if you can get into like the 80s bikes, like the 80s CRs, and like rebuild those, like dude, people fucking love them. And
oh yeah, dude, I got $5,000 for an 85 CR 125.
yeah, so I've been looking. I found an 86 CR 250 last night in a box special, $900 on Facebook, and I'm like, man, these old turds are probably going to suck to ride because they got drum brakes and no suspension. But I'm like, bro, we could rebuild it, and I could ride it really, really fucking slow for a couple laps for a video.
High center of gravity, too, so they...
You could. Listen, for me, honestly, dude, 80s and 90s bikes, I'm like, okay, here's the thing. If you're talking about an 80s CR 125, you really must not want to go fast. Like, I'm pretty sure that most 65s nowadays can probably go faster than that thing.
Yeah, they were only like 31 horsepower back in the day.
It's good to go.
but
like Scott's laughing over there. Some old guy's gonna hear this. Like, that's bullshit.
Listen, dude, just rebuild it one time. Take it to a sand track one time. Make sure that you got multiple cameras on the track because it's gonna blow up. And have a great time for a couple laps, go for it, 100%.
Look, I'm going to find that 95 CR 250. I'm going to build a Honda Troy bike, and we're going to go vintage racing with Scott.
I mean, I'm in.
Scott, he's going to go vintage racing, and we're going to go over to Matterley Basin, and we're going to do the vintage MX of Nations.
That we are not going to do. But
I'm about that action.
See, there you go, buddy.
Three out of my last 4 races here of the year are all vintage races on my vintage 2021. Okay, it's totally fine.
You are such a turd.
I love those days, though.
I know, man, but you got to be on a vintage bike.
So Scott, check this out. There's a local track here. It's about an hour from us. And they do these vintage races, okay? And they have classes all the way from 70s up to what they call the modern support class or whatever. So if you show up on a modern bike, you can still ride. So you go in, you pay, you get your practice, your 2 motos, and you're done before noon. Like, I went and did one probably about a month ago. 11 o'clock, I rolled off the track for my second moto. And then, like, in the afternoon, they have, like, open practice at the track, which is why they offered the modern classes, because they're hoping to get the guys there to race and then practice, which I did. Went out and rode a couple practice sessions after the race, too. But it is like the best thing ever. Now, I don't have a vintage bike to race yet because we haven't rebuilt that 93. Once I do, then yeah, I'll probably ride that in the morning and then ride my modern bike in the afternoon. But dude, it's the sickest thing ever because all these dudes are out there on their vintage bikes, so it's cool to see those go. And like I said, you can go, you can race. There's not a shit ton of people. I think when I raced, so they divide the modern classes up by age, so it's like 14 to 24 and then 25 plus, 30 plus, whatever. But there was only like 5 or 6 of us in each age group. So there was literally like all the kids from 14 up to like 40 plus. We all rode at the same time on our modern bikes. But it was sick because like I said, we were done by noon. I was done. I could pack up, go home, be home for an afternoon nap. Like it was awesome. Compared to like,
which as you get older is more valuable than you think.
Oh, dude, for me it's awesome. I mean, we went to Redbud yesterday for a local race, and it wasn't terrible. I was an early moto. I was Moto 5 out of 17, and we were done. I think I rolled off the track about 3:30ish for my second moto, so that wasn't terrible. But like, I went to Redbud for Vet Fest about 3 or so weeks ago, and dude, at 3 o'clock we were just finishing up the first round of motos. So it was like I left. I didn't even stay and do my second one because it had been 5:30, 6 o'clock before I rode my second moto. I was done, dude. Like, no way.
I mean, dude, at that point, yeah, no, you just throw in the towel or you go up there and you raise enough hell where they just basically do start, white flag, and that's it, right?
Just a 1-lap heater.
Just a 1-lap heater. Yeah.
Listen, you tell them, listen, man, I am a local rider. I am a fair weather rider. I'm not here to be in the sun all day.
Yep.
I'm here to go enjoy the track, really not even worried about, how I place. I'm just here to be with my buddies, have a nice time, drink a beer, go home. Let's not take this, let's not make it longer than it has to be.
Exactly. Like I ride old man C class, all right? And like 25 of us on the gate, sick. Like I'm back there battling for like 15th place in this old man C class. No problem. I had a dude, man, yesterday in my second moto that I tracked down. I was watching my GoPro last night. He was about 3 seconds ahead of me with 2 laps to go, and I tracked him down. Couldn't make the pass happen, but I tracked him down, made up 3 seconds. It was a great time.
Try to pull a Dylan Ferendis.
I had a good time, okay? But like,
yeah, and you're gonna have a better time doing that at 1 o'clock rather than like 5 o'clock.
Exactly. And that's when people talk about like, oh, you got to be there all day to race 12 laps. Okay, cool. Let's eliminate some of the classes. Let's tone this down a little bit. Okay, like the 50 junior kids or whatever, the 50 seniors that still get to ride on the big track, great. Maybe they don't do 4 laps on the big track since it takes them 5 minutes to do a lap. Maybe they only do 2. Or maybe if that's the case and you want them to do all these laps, maybe they still ride the kids track. Like, whatever. And maybe like us old guys, maybe we only do 3 laps. Because like, I don't have a problem doing 3 laps.
There's no reason to be that winded. You need proper lung function for beer.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how am I supposed to drink and take a nap later when I can't even breathe? I don't understand.
Dude,
fuck.
This is an amazing interview.
Dude,
we'll fix the world's problems.
One day Scott will understand because he will be that 45-year-old guy that used to race, and now my body doesn't work quite as well as it used to,
And drinking beer.
Yeah,
drinking beer at the track with us.
I 100%. I'm not there yet. I don't drink now, and I really don't have the desire to. But I know maybe later in life, I might be that guy that's like, yeah, you know what? I've done my years of literally busting my freaking butt to just break into the top 20 to get that national number and to try and make waves. But you know what? Those days are over. I'm here to enjoy it, and you know what? Second moto. That's literally an option because I don't care.
Yep.
It's got to be the get off my lawn guy.
It's okay, man. It's a good time. One day, Scott will be in the old man class with me. I mean, waxing my ass. Just completely waxing my ass still.
Scott's going back to Loretta's at 60-plus class.
Yeah,
it's fine.
But it'll be fine. We'll have a good time, okay?
Dude, no matter what. And honestly, dude, at the end of the day, even when I'm like hurling my guts out, hurling my guts out's not a good time. But
usually isn't.
I'm always out there, during the races, having a good time. even when you're like suffering and then you come back and you're like, God, that sucked. And then you're like, but I'm not going to lie, though. It was pretty sick. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun, can Scott, can you are you good at doing whips?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Are you good at doing whips?
Honestly, I'm not a big whip guy. But you never know. I mean, it's honestly, I get a lot of crap for it because I don't do a lot of whips, but I can scrub a bike pretty dang low. Well, and not only that, but you never know. I might be able to bust out a really nice whip, and actually, it only comes out when I really need to. There was a buddy of mine that I used to race with, and this guy always gave me such a hard time. And we happened to be out in time qualifying at WW last year, I believe. And dude, I passed him during time qualifying right before the one big tabletop at WW, and I think you know which one I'm talking about, the one that got super sketchy and everybody crashed off of.
Yep.
And dude, in time qualifying, and I passed him, and it was right before the table. Dude, I threw the fattest whip of my life, and I came off the track, and he goes, holy shit, I did not know that you could do that. And I was like, yeah, no, dude. I mean, I can. I just don't do it. I don't have any need to.
It's unnecessary.
The reason why I ask is because it's at this event we have on Saturday morning, we have a whip contest off this booter table. So I was just wondering if you can do whips, maybe you can go out there, win the whip contest too while you're at it.
I mean, dude, I'll do it for fun. I don't care if I win or lose. I'll just do it to have a good time. You never know. I might be able to bust something out and be like, dang. Even Sater will be surprised because that dude doesn't hardly ever see me whip. Listen, man, I'm all about efficiency. Truthfully, the photos that you see me posting on Instagram, those are the really good pictures where my form looks good for the most part. But other than that, like my form isn't that great. When I'm 25 minutes deep, do you know how worried I am about form? Zero. I'm just worried.
Scott's shoulders are toes pointed out, heads down.
I'm worried about just chilling and getting through and keeping my laps good. And honestly, man, I'd probably look like a freaking wet noodle, and that's okay. I'm perfectly okay with that. I'm
awesome.
calm and I'm cool, collected. But I'm more of an efficient guy, I'm not, and it's funny, the guy that actually was nice enough to help me out as my mechanic this weekend, he was like, dude, he's like, you're not an aggressive rider. You just look super relaxed, and I can barely hear your bike when you're going past me. He's like, but what's crazy is you're going so fast, and you're going really fast. You're going pretty fast compared to a lot of guys. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, yeah, man. I mean, I don't need to be, I'm kind of relaxed. That's why I can only make it about 5 laps on a 252 stroke before I'm a little gassed,
It's just not the most efficient bike in the world to ride. I don't know what you want from me.
Listen, dude, you got to have a whole crew of filmers out there because those 5 laps are going to be bangers. But after that,
we're done.
Know, man.
Just cut the camera after that.
I gotta take a break, man. It's too much.
That's how I feel all the time riding. See, this is easy. Now you know how I feel.
Travis, you ride like once a week, so that's part of it too.
That is also a problem. If I'm lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
So, I mean, yesterday was the first time in 2 weeks I've rode, so it's cool.
There you go. Well, we live in Michigan. The weather is always on a break.
Haven't rode in 2 weeks. Where'd you decide to go ride? Red Bud. It was fine. No big deal.
Well, at least you didn't say Baja or Bulldogs.
Super deep, it's cool.
You didn't say you rode 1 week and then went up to the Brawl or something.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. So, well, all right, Scott. Thanks for coming on the show, man. I know you're driving, so,
no, mom's driving.
Mom's driving. But you need to keep her entertained, all right?
I do need to keep her entertained, and I also have an assignment due. What the heck? It's what time is it on the East Coast?
It's 9 o'clock right now.
I got an assignment due in about 3 hours.
Sick.
So,
nice.
Well, we've been at the show for 3 hours now, so my butt's starting to hurt.
And we still need to go over the race.
We're not going over the race.
We'll just talk about the main points.
listen, if you're going over the race, just like, pull up that second moto in the 450 and kind of pull up the start, and you're like, oh shoot, there's our boy Meshey. We were just on the phone with him.
Dude, you laughed.
You'll see me. I'm right
he
there.
sent that to me already.
I know.
He screenshot sent it to me where he was in 6th place. I was like, sick.
Well,
Fucking sick.
I'm not gonna lie. Listen, being me, it was pretty sick.
Oh no, that's awesome. Like, trust me, if I ever was in a professional race like that and my name was in the top 10, dude, you would see nothing but Instagram pictures for the next 6 months of my name being in the top 10. All right. Any picture I could find of me in that place, I don't care. Any picture you could find of me riding in that position,
you'd get a shirt
same
with that
thing.
picture on there.
Dude, that's all you would hear about for about 6 months. There would be nothing.
Yeah.
Someone would say something to me like, are you going to take the garbage out? I was in top 10 in a 450 Pro Moto. Fuck off, peasant.
What the fuck?
That's exactly how I would act.
At that point, bro, if you gotta get a job at Walmart, it wouldn't matter. Put that shit in the resume.
Dude, I
100%.
print it off and just slide it across the desk first and be like, here's my resume.
Like, bro, I don't know how to do inventory, but I can get top 10 in the Moto Outdoors.
No, 100%. Just be like, yeah, look, you see, and what's funny is one of my sponsors actually took a screenshot of the live timing where it was like 10 minutes in and I was still in 6th. And I'm like, yeah, no, like that's my flex. That's 100%. That's going to be my flex for a while.
Hell yeah. Start sending it to other privateers and be like, do you have a screenshot of it in the top 10?
Send it to Surratt.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I'm telling you, I'm gonna get our boy on here. I'm gonna get the boy Surratt on here, and he's like me. He's a pretty calm-tongued guy. But listen, just gas this man up for top 10ing. This dude just got 7th overall.
Oh, we will. Don't you
Oh,
worry.
we will.
And such a cool dude. Like, what a nice dude. And like the guy, like the dude won 4 championships at Loretta's and didn't get a factory ride. The only time I've ever seen that ever. Schoolboy 1 and 2, the guy won championships in the same year, and the kid didn't get a ride. The guy, I feel like the guy, I just feel like he's not getting the recognition that he deserves.
Yeah.
So, and listen, man, you see, man, this shows. I hope this shows like the type of person I am, because that's my boy. Like, I'm gonna gas him up 100%. He's another privateer, and 100%. Like, would I like to see him do well? Absolutely. If he gets a factory ride, am I still going to be gunning for that spot? Absolutely. But you know what? We're all just hoping well on each other, man, because that's my boy. And I want to see guys like myself and guys that, deserve the spots to get them.
Yep. 100%. So, well, all right, man. We're going to wrap the show up. We appreciate you coming on. Great year. I will.
Awesome.
I'll send you some videos of this track so that way you know what you're getting into if you can make it up here.
Right.
So.
All righty, man.
Cool.
Well, listen, dude. I'm gonna push to make it happen. We're gonna see if we can make this thing happen.
I'll text you every day.
It's always a good time, man. It's always a good time.
So, thanks, buddy.
Meshey times Moto Aftermath collab. Love it.
Yep, 100%.
Man, we're gonna have a busy 2 days.
It's gonna
We
be
got a
real
lot
busy.
going on.
I'm trying to ride too. So.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, man. Good luck
Thank you,
with your
buddy.
homework.
See ya.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.